in the dead of night, 4 men walked into a Los Angeles vault and vanished with nearly $19 million in cash. The FBI called it the most daring bank heist in American history, and to this day, one of them has never been caught. A story unfolded that would grip the nation. It wasn't fiction. It wasn't Hollywood. It was real. A story of ambition, greed, betrayal, and the most daring heist the FBI has ever investigated. This is the true story of the biggest bank heist in American history. It begins on a chilly morning in Los Angeles, California, where armored trucks crisscross the city, delivering millions in cash. For most, the sight of those bulletproof vehicles was a sign of security, trust, and the promise that America's money was safe. But for one man, Carlos Mendoza, it was an opportunity. Carlos wasn't a career criminal. He was a former security guard, a man who had spent years watching the movements of armored trucks, studying their schedules, memorizing their routines. Day after day, he stood in the background, invisible to those he protected. What no one realized was that Carlos was storing every detail in his mind, constructing a blueprint for the perfect crime. He called it the job. The plan was simple in theory, but terrifying in execution. Carlos knew he couldn't do it alone. He reached out to old friends, men who had tasted failure in life, men desperate enough to risk everything. Among them was Derek Shaw, a mechanic with debts that could bury him alive. Then there was Anthony Tone Harris, a smooth-talking hustler who had already danced with the law more times than he cared to admit. And finally, there was Marcus Lee, a tech genius with a knack for cracking digital locks and disabling alarms. Together, they formed a crew that would change crime history in the United States forever. For 6 months, they planned. Every detail was laid out: routes, timings, police patrols, traffic patterns. They even drilled escape runs in abandoned warehouses, practicing until every move felt like muscle memory. But the most chilling part of the plan? The inside help. Carlos knew the system because he had been the system. He had keys. He had codes. He had trust. And with that, he had the one thing that makes any heist possible: access. The night of the heist. Downtown Los Angeles. Midnight. The city hummed with neon lights and restless traffic. But deep in the financial hub, silence reigned. The crew gathered in a stolen van, faces covered, hearts pounding. Inside the vault, they were targeting lay over $18 million in untraceable cash. The job was set. There was no turning back. Marcus hacked the alarm system in under 3 minutes, his fingers dancing across a laptop as if he had done it 100 times before. Tone and Derek moved in, carrying duffel bags, while Carlos swiped a stolen keycard to gain entry into the restricted area. The cameras blinked off. The silence grew heavier. And then the vault door creaked open. What they saw stunned them. Stacks of bills piled high, a river of green stretching into the dark. For a moment, even these hardened men froze. They weren't just stealing money. They were stealing history. The bags filled quickly. $1 million. $5 million. $10 million. Their breaths grew ragged under their masks. Every sound felt like thunder. A car horn outside made Tone flinch. A police siren in the distance sent Derek's pulse racing. Finally, they had what they came for: $18.9 million in cash. The largest bank heist ever pulled off on American soil. But as every criminal learns, the real challenge isn't the heist. It's the escape. The getaway was chaos. Police scanners buzzed. Helicopters scouted overhead. Within hours, the city knew something massive had happened. The FBI was called in. Roadblocks sprang up across Los Angeles. Carlos and his crew split the money into 4 equal shares, vowing silence, vowing loyalty. But money changes people, and loyalty is fragile. Tone couldn't resist flashing cash. New cars, new watches, lavish parties. It wasn't long before whispers reached the ears of the FBI. Marcus, the hacker, made his own mistake. He bought cryptocurrency in bulk, leaving a digital trail so bright even rookie agents could follow it. And Derek? He confessed to a girlfriend during a drunken night out. That girlfriend would later become the FBI's star witness. But Carlos stayed in the shadows. He lived quietly, spending carefully, never drawing attention. For months, agents chased shadows, piecing together fragments, running surveillance, tapping phones. Then came the break. An informant tipped off the FBI about a safe house in East LA inside. They found $500,000 in marked bills. The walls were closing in. One by one, the crew fell. Tone was arrested outside a nightclub in Las Vegas. Marcus was dragged from his apartment by a SWAT team. Derek surrendered in exchange for a lighter sentence. But Carlos? He vanished. To this day, the FBI believes he escaped to South America with nearly $7 million in cash. His name remains on the Bureau's most wanted list, a ghost story whispered among agents, a reminder that even the strongest systems can be broken by the people who build them. This is more than just a heist. It's a story about trust, betrayal, and the price of ambition. A story that proves reality can be stranger and more terrifying than fiction. The largest bank heist in American history didn't just take money. It took innocence. It showed the world that no system is unbreakable. And as long as Carlos Mendoza's out there, somewhere, living under a new name, the story isn't over. Because the greatest heist in U.S. history remains unsolved. Backhand index pointing right if you found this true crime story gripping. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment with what you think happened to Carlos. And subscribe for more true crime documentaries, FBI case files, and real unsolved heist stories. Because sometimes the truth is the most dangerous story of all.